Janeé Jackson-Doring, Youth Services Consultant at the State Library, is here today to talk to us about TeenTober. So we're all very excited to hear about that. Janeé, take it away.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam, and thank you, everybody, for attending today. Welcome to a special edition of Pop YS Live. And my name is Janeé Jackson-Doring. I'm the Youth Services Consultant for the State Library of Iowa. And I need to start, Sam, where in the world is Janeé at? Because right now, I am not in the State Library in Des Moines. I am on the road in Northeast Iowa. I am at Edgewood Public Library. I'm taking a tour of some of the libraries in Northeast Iowa, and I'm visiting 9 libraries. So it's been very exciting. I've been on the road. I got to see some turkey and some deer just a few minutes ago. But I'm meeting with all of the fantastic librarians and the library directors here in Northeast Iowa. So I'm very excited. I'm very excited to be speaking with you guys today about teens. So let's get started. Oops, I pushed a button too soon. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, Allison says only 15 minutes for me. Yes. So for really quickly, this is our table of contents of what we'll be covering today. We'll talk about what is TeenTober really quickly. We'll talk about why we should care about teens. We'll also talk about how do I reach them? I have talked to a lot of youth librarians, directors, and they've all said to me, I can't reach the teens. I've tried everything under the sun. I can't reach them. We'll address some concerns and see if we can have some dialogue on how to reach them. We'll also talk about teen program ideas. Now, when I talk about teen program ideas, these are going to be ideas you can use not only for TeenTober, but you can use them all year long during the school year, during summer reading. So all the ideas that I'm suggesting to you today, don't just use them for TeenTober. You can use them any time of the year. So we'll talk about that. And we'll talk about getting teens involved, volunteering at the library, because it's important for them to learn about the library world. Because when they are library users, when you start to have them become library users as children and teens, they'll become library supporters as adults. And that's what we want. We want to build that lifelong learning for them. And I will also share some resources as well. So first, what is TeenTober? All you guys are like, what's TeenTober? I have no idea what that is. So TeenTober is a nationwide initiative that was started by YALSA. And this started in 2019. And a student, actually, they had a nationwide contest. Let me back up. YALSA had a nationwide contest to replace Teen Read Week, which is always in October, and Teen Tech Week, which was usually held in April. So a group of teen librarians came together and formed a nationwide naming contest because they wanted something different. And a student that was at, Des Moines Public Library, the Franklin Avenue Library branch, they actually submitted the winning name, and TeenTober was selected. And so now we have this new name. It's TeenTober, and it's a nationwide initiative. It's only held during October. But the important thing about TeenTober is that it celebrates teens. It celebrates the innovative ways that teen services can help teens. It's helping them learn new skills, fuel their passions in and outside the library all year long. And the cool thing about TeenTober, it's that it allows flexibility. You can celebrate using all types of literacy. So financial literacy, digital literacy, traditional literacy, and you can also incorporate STEAM projects as well. So why should we care about the teens? Everyone's like, why should we care? Simple. Teens need advocates. They need safe spaces. The pandemic showed that a lot of teens were isolated. They felt lost without their friends, but they need those safe spaces to just be a teen. These guys are busy and they just need a place to be, a place to hang, a place to just be a teen. I feel like sometimes they get so bombarded with school and jobs and finding a career or college. They're bombarded with so much, and sometimes they just need that moment, that space to realize, I'm just a teen. I just need a place to be. So as youth librarians, teen librarians, and library directors, we need to be advocates for them and advocate a safe space for them to be. And teens are figuring out their place in the world. They're trying to figure out how they can be a part of something. They're figuring out who they are as individuals. And as libraries, we are a place for them to find that, whether it's through books, programming in the world. And they need positive experiences to express their interests, whether it's manga or they love to read young adult fiction, or they love to read graphic novels, or if they love drawing. They need those positive experiences to express their interests and express their identities, to say, yes, this is me. I'm a teen. I have these wonderful qualities about me. And we need to give them experiences, hands-on experiences, to help them grow and mature to be caring adults. And teens, we need to help them be seen as individuals with something to give. Teens, I feel like sometimes they get the bad rap because everybody wants to either kick them out or, just not work with them. But they do have something to offer. And as libraries and with libraries and librarians, I feel like we have something to help them to become the person that they need to be. Okay, so I know you're probably sitting in your chair, having your lunch, drinking your coffee, drinking your water, and you're like, okay, that's fine and dandy, Janeé, but how do I reach them? Totally get it. I've been there. This is what I feel like we all should be doing. We all want teens to come to the library. We all want them to come and just enjoy our programs. But part of outreach is getting out of the library. Some of these guys don't drive. Some of them ride bikes. Some of them are taking public transportation, whatever the situation may be in your town or your community. We need to get out of the library and take our programs to them. So what does that look like? That means hosting pop-up events where the teens are, looking at the groups in your town. What groups or youth organizations or community groups are in your town or county? Take your programs out of the library. Take it to them. Think about the teens, about how they get to places. Sometimes they may have parents take them places, or like I said, they're driving or they're on their bikes. Take the programs outside of your building, take it to them. I'm a really big believer in hosting pop-up events at where the teens are. It just makes sense. If you see them hanging out at a certain building or function, or an after-school event, take your programs outside and go have a pop-up event where they're at. It just makes sense. At the high school or middle school, for me, when I was working as a youth librarian, I had a really good relationship with the middle schools, and high schools were tricky because they didn't want to interfere with class time. Totally get that, totally respect that. Middle school, it was either, yes, I had a working relationship with the teachers and they would let me in to do book talks, or if I couldn't get into the classrooms, I would set up a table during their lunch breaks. And that seemed to work easily for me because I wasn't interfering with teachers' class time, their instruction time. So I had a table set up during their lunch break. I shared library program info, how to get a card, upcoming teen events, bring freebies. Who doesn't love a freebie? Hello, I love a freebie. Bring candy, whether it's Jolly Rancher, Swedish Fish, those little packets, mini packets of Swedish Fish, just really fun candies. Bring bookmarks, bring advanced reader copies of books that aren't published yet. Hand those out. Teens love freebies. So at your table, you can have all of these things. And that really worked very well for me. And I'm a big believer of building relationships with the teachers, especially now. teachers are wanting some help. And so reach out to them, ask them if you can come into their school, to their classroom to do book talks.
I have just noticed that I think Janeé's video froze on us. So we will wait for her to hop back on here. Hopefully, I know she had a backup she could switch back to. So bear with us for just a moment here. And while she gets back on, maybe let's start a little conversation up in the chat. Where have you guys had good luck getting out to meet teens? You can throw in the chat if you've done any teen outreach events. Where have been some of your best spots to get out of the library and get to the teens? And the non-youth services librarian here, myself, is not going to have a lot of suggestions. So I'm waiting for you guys. Kelly says, yeah, our first couple of responses here are both at the school for sure. Oh, Margaret has a good one. I have the high school art teacher on my side, and I love it when you've got a sort of built-in advocate there. I love that we're working with teachers to get student access cards, Oh, okay, Janeé, I don't know if you can see the chat when you hop back in here, but I asked people where they got out and met teens. And we've got some great things in the chat here. Sarah mentions the youth group, and I don't know if that's through a local church or something, but that's a great spot to get connected with teens who may already be interested in plugging in and volunteering in some way too. All right, have we got you back? That's great, Sarah. And you are muted for the moment.
Thank you, Sam. I'm sorry. I got a little bit disconnected and I got back on my personal Wi-Fi. And
Okay,
could you please share the comment for me?
share the what?
The comments. I missed a little bit of
Sure,
where you
yeah,
said it.
absolutely. Yeah, so we've got people who are at the middle school and high school connecting with teens, and they get teen volunteers that way as well, working directly with different teachers. Margaret mentions the art teacher. So Sarah says, I'm a very new teen librarian. I'm in the process of planning outreach. Schools are my first stop. That's great. Um, Oh, Amanda brings bagels to the high school once a month to share about the library in partnership with the high school
Bagel,
librarians. And that's so great. I like that, like bagels and books or something like this.
bagels and
Excuse my
books.
thoroughly Minnesotan way of saying that word. But
There
that's
you go,
great.
Amanda. You got a tagline, bagels and books. You got a title. It
Bagels,
looks like
books, and
Ron.
more, since we are probably talking about more than just teens getting books. It's also about expressing themselves in other ways. But welcome back here, and I will turn it. We actually call it Books and Bagels. Haha, wow. Everyone loves an alliteration. Who doesn't love an alliteration? That's awesome.
That's right.
Okay, you got the screen share back. Very cool. All right, well, we'll let you
Yes.
take it back away here.
Thank you guys for being so patient. I appreciate your flexibility. But with the library orientation with the teachers and students, you can share with the students how to get a library card. A lot of the teens, they may say, hey, in our school library, we don't have this book. How can we suggest a title for purchase? You could educate the teens about how to suggest titles for purchase for the public library. That would be a wonderful way to get them involved and hearing them speak their truth and voice for items that they'd like to see. Okay, so now we are going to talk about teen program ideas. And like I said, you can use these for TeenTober, or you can use these programs throughout the school year or summer reading, however you see fit. When you are planning your teen programs, definitely use the Homago method. I don't know if everyone is familiar with Homago. This was a practice that I learned several years ago as a teen librarian at a conference. And Homago stands for hang out, mess around, and geek out. This is a practice that teens do. And it is just a practice that we should be adapting in our public library programs for teens. Teens want activities that make them feel like they're not at school. They go to school all day. And when they come to the library for your programs, they just want to have a good time with their friends. They just want to hang out and have a good time and engage in your activities. So definitely take a peek at this guidebook. It will be in my slides. So there's a copy of the entire guidebook. So that way you guys can take a peek at it. The other thing I want to mention with Homago is they also worked with Chicago Public Library's U-Media program. If you get a chance, take a peek at their U-Media program. They have so many hands-on engaging practices for teens that they put together in their teen programs. Some of the teens can make t-shirts. Some of the teens can do 3D drawings, printing, painting with watercolor brush and paints. So many different types of things for teens to do where they can just hang out, mess around, geek out, and have a positive experience at the library and just grow as individuals. So please keep this in mind. So with planning teen programs, maybe you're an arts and crafts person, maybe you might have teens that are engaged in arts and crafts. These are just a couple of examples that you could do for teen programs. I love watercolor brush painting. It's fun. These are just different kinds of brushes. They're plastic brushes, but you unscrew them, fill the bottom part with water, screw it back on, and then you have watercolors that they can push and squeeze. The water comes out at the brush part, and just have some watercolor paints and some watercolor paper, and just let the teens go to town. Let them paint and create what they want. Simple, easy program. The watercolor brushes you can get on Amazon, watercolor paints, Amazon. Fun, engaging program. Cray pens are my favorite. I have a couple of these that I had purchased. This picture has a person holding a cray pen, and these are the pucks, the color pucks that they use. What you do with cray pens, you plug them in, the gold part of the tip heats up, and once it heats up, you can take these pucks, and they're wax pucks, any color they want, and it melts the color, and then the teen is able to decorate whatever they want. I used heavy cardstock to put out for teens to have them make cray pen artworks, or you can get little tiny white canvases, little tiny canvases that they can decorate on as well. You can also take broken crayons. I know you guys have a lot of broken crayons because all of the kids, you know how they break crayons. Don't throw them away. Save those broken crayons and let the teens use those for their wax. They can melt those crayons and then make their artwork. Super, super fun program. You just want to be careful because those gold tips, they heat up very quickly and it is very, very hot. So have them be careful when they are using the cray pens because those tips are hot. They make great pieces of art. There's wax pucks that you can buy on Amazon. They're different colors. There's also wax pucks that are just, they're kind of like a flesh tone color. But I would recommend getting the flesh tone color ones because you'll need to use those to clean out the tips. So just keep that in mind. I did a lot of button making programs, especially with manga groups. For those who have teen anime clubs, teen manga clubs, we bought a button maker, and this is at the bottom. It's a 1.25-inch button maker, excuse me, from AmericanButtonMachines.com. I loved using a button maker, and I just bought the whole kit of supplies. It comes with the paper to seal the button, the backing, the pin backing. It came with all of that. I think there were like 1,000 pins in there and 1,000 sheets of Mylar. and it tells you step by step how to make the buttons. Um, Super fun, super engaging. I had teens color in or make whatever design they want, and I had a template so that way they could cut out the design very easily. And then I taught them how to make their own buttons. And the teens loved it because they could put their anime or manga characters on their backpacks, or they could wear them on their shirt. Some of them made LGBTQ not stickers, but pins. It was super cool, but it was a way that they could express themselves. So definitely consider maybe purchasing a button maker. If you are budget savvy and would not like to purchase a button maker, Amazon has clear buttons that have the pins where you can just pull them apart. The kids can make their designs, the teens can make their designs, cut them out, and you just put them inside there and it snaps. Easy peasy. I'm a big journal person, as you guys know, with the smash journals and the art and junk journaling. I'm a sucker for journals, and we work with a lot of teens that like to write or create, especially with anime and mangas. Maybe consider putting together manga collage journals. And there are tutorials on YouTube on how to do this. It's basically you taking a plain, ordinary notebook, similar to this. I don't know if you guys can see that okay. But you take a plain, ordinary notebook and have them decorate the cover with large manga stickers, or those large vinyl stickers that you see on water bottles. Just grab I think they sell them like 500 a pack for like $9 or $10 on Amazon. Grab some anime manga stickers, let them decorate their journals, and then they can cover it with Mod Podge to keep it safe and secure. Super fun, super easy. Or if you have withdrawn mangas that you know that they're just not going to be used, and they're just sitting there, you can take those withdrawn mangas, have the teens cut them up, cut out the scenes that they want, and then they can paste them with glue, and again, seal them with Mod Podge, and there you go. They have their own manga collage journal. And another thing you could do is host a zine workshop. And for those of you that don't know what a zine is, a zine, or zines, I should say, they are small mini books or magazines that teens can create. At the bottom of your screen, these are just some examples of what zines can be. They fold up very easily, and they're just little mini books that teens can decorate, teens can color, they can write poetry, write stories, anything that they want, they can make in a zine. And I saw that West Des Moines they have a zine making workshop tomorrow for teens in grades 6 through 12. And it looks like Rhonda Kelly, she also hosted a zine workshop this summer as well. And Rhonda says there are some great templates online. Yes, online Pinterest is your best friend. Definitely you can search on there for some templates to make zines with the teens as well. And I'm just going to check the chat real quick. Looks like Kathy Bain says you can also make keychains and magnets with the American Button Machine. Yes, magnets are very fun. You can even take those clear, see-through, what do they call them? The little glass beads that you put at the bottom of a fish tank, I think. They're big, large ones. And you can take magnets and glue them on there to make magnets that they can use in their lockers. Super fun. And Emily says, yes, we did Smash Journals this summer. They were a big hit. Wonderful. And Laura says, we use those clear pins for summer library program, and they were great. Fantastic. I love it. Oh, and let's talk about food. Food, glorious food. It's true. If you have food, teens will come. And I don't know about you guys, but I love bubble tea, or they call it boba tea. Consider having a bubble tea program. There are a plethora of bubble tea recipes, and I have two that I have saved as a PDF that I will share with my slides, so that way you can offer maybe a take and make bubble tea program, because we know teens are busy. If they can't come to your programs, maybe you can package everything up ready to go. But definitely consider having a bubble tea program. or taste testing programs. I know Bondurant loves to have taste testing programs. So maybe they are taste testing different types of candy bars or Pop Tarts or Takis. Oh my gosh, Takis. Um, you could do taste testing programs to see which items they like the best. You can partner with Iowa State University Extension. They have a programming women in science program. It's PWISE, but they have it where students from Iowa State University Extension, they travel all across Iowa to deliver programs for teens, tweens, and it's free. And one of the programs that they offer is a candy science program. So they can learn about the different types of science and how that applies to candy making. So consider talking with ISU Extension and the students there at Iowa State University. Oh, and Tammy says we are doing Oreo tasting later this fall. Nice. There you go. And it looks like, let me see. Rhonda says our first summer reading program, they had a bubble tea program and they had 48 tweens and teens attend. It's crazy and fun. Yes, I believe it. Absolutely. Diana says we did a Sweet 16 taste test for her nephew's birthday. And yes, it would go over with the teens. Awesome. One event that I loved doing, actually two events, I had last year, it was a haunted house program. So I had all the teens make a haunted house, and I bought Halloween candy, I bought graham crackers, all different types of candies that they could make. I even bought Pop-Tarts, and Hy-Vee donated the frosting to us. I contacted Hy-Vee and I said, hey, here's what I'm doing. Is there any way you could donate some frosting in different colors? And they said yes. So I just put out all different types of candy, all of these items, graham crackers, Pop Tarts, frosting, and the Halloween candies. And I let the teens go to town. The only things I did have, I had cardboard pieces cut out, very sturdy cardboard, so that way they could decorate their haunted houses on. They'd have something sturdy to put them on. It was a lot of fun. It was messy. The whole room smelled like frosting. I saw a lot of frosting and graham crackers go into the mouth as well, which is to be expected. It was a lot of fun. They got very creative. And I did not put out models. I don't like putting out models of things I make because then they just want to copy what I made. And that's kind of detrimental. I want teens to use their imaginations, to be creative. And they had no problem doing that. It was a ton of fun. And Jen says same. Only if they won't even start. That's right. So I don't like to have models with me. I just want them to use their imaginations, and they went wild. And marshmallows would be good for this too. So the Nailed It program, I loved doing Nailed It programs because the teens could recreate food items based on the show. I had cupcakes donated from Hy-Vee. I had frosting donated from Hy-Vee. Hy-Vee was great. If you have a grocery store that you're working with, whether it's Hy-Vee, Fairway, whomever, hit them up. Ask them what they can donate. Ask them if they would be willing to donate frosting, cupcakes. They donated, well, I think it was 20 cupcakes. I can't remember, but they donated a lot of food to us. And the only thing they asked me to do in return, they had a little sign that said, this food was donated by your local Hy-Vee. They just asked if we could post that up in the meeting room during the program. And I said, yes, absolutely. Margaret has a great question. Who do you ask? Do you ask the store manager? So I went through two routes. I asked the bakers and I asked the store manager. So if one says no, go to the other, because you never know. Just ask. You'd be surprised what people will say. So I went through the baker and I went through the store manager, and both of them were great. That's a great question. Okay, I'm going to switch gears a little bit, and I'm going to move my chat real quick, so I apologize. So I'm going to move this over here. So now I'm going to talk about college and career pathways. Working as a youth librarian and hosting different types of programs to get teens interested in college, it really dawned on me that, there's some teens that just aren't interested in college. They want to have a different career path, and that's fine. So think about some different alternatives for teens. So maybe if you have teens that are wanting to pursue a career in plumbing or a trade, maybe host a local trade union to come and give a presentation to teens about alternatives to college, different career paths that they can choose. Um, we pressure teens, oh yes, go to college, go to college, go to college. And that's great. There are teens that do want to go to college, but then there's some that want maybe a skilled trade right when they get out of high school. And that is okay too. So we should be appreciating that and celebrating that and helping them find that path. Another thing you could do is hold mock interviews to prepare for job interviews or a resume workshop. I hosted during summer reading several years ago a representative, and I believe it was from the ICANN network, but a representative came out and she does a lot of recruiting. And I had several teens practice how to do a mock interview. It was great. It was great practice for them. They got to learn what to do during an interview, what not to do during an interview. They actually did take the time to sit and be interviewed. And the person that was doing the interviews gave them feedback, things to work on, things that they did that were great. And it was a great learning experience. And the teens that came, they all have jobs now, because I remember seeing them, and now it's like, oh my gosh, I remember you came to my program. And now, one is out of high school, and they're working their way through college and working at Starbucks. Another one of my old teens, they now have a job at the Southside Library. So building those skills, because they will need those skills when they become adults. One thing I would really love to see, maybe an ACT, SAT prep session where you are showing the teens what ACT or SAT prep books you have for checkout at the library, or showing your databases of how they can prepare for the ACTs and SATs, showing BrainFuse, how to use BrainFuse to help study for the ACT, SAT, and how they can get help with their resume writing skills, their college admission exams, all of that. That would be a wonderful program to have for your teens. And this last item, I used to host this at Central Library in Des Moines. A lot of teens, especially graduating seniors, they're working on, if they're going to college, they're working on their FAFSA. And raise your hand if you had a hard time filling out that FAFSA form. It was awful. I hated it. It was, I had parents that didn't really know what to do. And in my case, I was an emancipated teen. And so I didn't know how to fill out this form. And luckily, I had caring adults that were able to step in and help me. But if you're a teen and you don't know what to do, or you're a parent and you don't know what to do, consider hosting a FAFSA Ready Iowa session. These sessions are held by the ICANN network, and I put their website to the right, or to the right of the screen. But it's held January through March. And what you do is you contact them, and they have representatives from their organization that come out, and you schedule the times and the dates, but they come out and they will help parents and their students fill out the FAFSA forms for free. It's a great resource, and I wish more people would take advantage of it. We had a lot of teens and their parents come and get their FAFSAs completed. And again, free help by trained individuals who are trained to fill out the FAFSA forms. So consider these for your library. Okay, I had to put Game On here. I don't know if you guys are a big fan of Wayne's World, but I love when they say game on, game on. So sorry, it's an old 90s reference. Anyway, considering having some gaming programs at your library. Franklin Avenue Library, looks like this is coming up in a couple weeks. They have bought Nintendo Switches and they have Nintendo Switch parties for their teens and tweens. So they have games, they have Mario Kart 8, they have Super Mario Brothers. And it's cool because they have their own Nintendo Switches for the teens to play, and the teens can bring their own controllers to play with other students as well. Looks like Margaret, she said she had 50 plus teens show up for a video game tournament day. That's fantastic. So consider purchasing a Nintendo Switch and having some Switch parties at your library. Also, don't forget, think about escape rooms. Escape rooms are still popular. We also have games, the regular games. You have Exploding Kittens, Settlers of Catan, that's still popular. The State Library of Iowa, we have a Teen Gaming Unplugged kit where it's 4 actual board games that you can check out for 5 weeks and you can send it back to us, and that's for free. So think about getting those board games out so that way teens can have something to do. Looks like Sarah says we are doing a one night, a werewolf and full moon party in October. Nice. I like it. Some other ideas. So other ideas that you can do for teens, have self-care bags. One year at Southside Library, I wanted to do something cool for TeenTober. And one of the things I did, because I knew teens were busy, I knew they had a lot going on, was to create self-care bags. And so I made about, what was it? I think it was like 150 to 100 bags to start with. But inside those self-care bags, I had a little mini journal, a highlighter, some of those big vinyl those waterproof stickers, some candy, some coloring bookmarks, and that thinking putty that's different colors. I love the thinking putty because it's tactile, it's sensory, it helps them to calm down. So I prepped some self-care bags, and those went out really well. Another idea you could do, you could host a cosplay day at your library or a library con where teens they dress up based as their favorite book character. Maybe you could host a high school drama teacher or a college theater teacher to speak about cosplay. Maybe you can offer tips on how to create their own costumes, teach how to sew so that way they can sew or create their costumes. But these are just some ideas that possibly you could do for your teens. And as far as books, I like to curate a monthly deposit collection. And you're probably wondering, what is a deposit collection? I'm going to move my screens here real quick. So pardon me real quick. So a deposit collection is just a set of books that you curate and put together for teachers or community organizations that they can use at their site for X amount of weeks, and you have them checked out to them, and then they return them to you. This started during the pandemic. I worked with a group in Des Moines, and it was a group that served youth ages 8 to 18. A lot of the teens had behavioral issues, mental health issues, and they would come to the library before the pandemic, usually in groups of 5 with a counselor. They were able to check out books. I think it was 5 books out at a time, and then they would read them and then return them, and that was the process. Well, when COVID hit, nobody was going anywhere. Libraries were closed, and the director reached out to me and said, can you please offer some type of programming for our teens? They really want to read. They really can't go anywhere. And this was right, what was it? This was what? Right, like during that early stages of COVID, they couldn't go home for Christmas. Imagine that. You're a teen, you're a kid, and you can't go home for Christmas. You can't see your parents because of COVID. It was rough. And I felt so bad for these guys. And I'm like, yeah, what can we do? How can we help? So they really wanted books. A lot of the teens that they were working with loved LGBTQ books. They loved mangas. They gave me a gamut of things that they were reading. So every month I would put together two bins. There were 30 books in a bin of things that they wanted, and I had them for grades 4 through 12. And I checked them out to them, and then they would read them. And then, of course, when I went to go pick them up, they would have a list of more. They were like, we want more of this, we want more of this. And it was great because I was still able to get books in their hands and they were telling me what they wanted to read. And we were able to curate their deposits based on their interests. Um, so even if you're working with teachers, ask them what their teens are interested in. Ask them what they want to read, and ask the teachers what they're needing. And then you're able to curate those deposits for them. I put together for teens and for this group I was working with just a mix of fiction, nonfiction titles, and what they wanted. And the teachers, they either picked up the deposit or I drove and delivered it. And then when they were done, they just returned it to the library, or again, I went out and picked them up. But I really, really loved this because it was providing quality materials to students that they didn't have, and it was filling a need for not only for us for doing outreach, but it was filling a need for them. So, and finally, getting teens involved. Get them involved in your library. Teens are very curious people and they want to know what you're doing. They want to know how things work, and get them involved in your building. So host a volunteers program. And what do I mean by volunteers? Volunteers is a program that Des Moines Public Library, my former employer, started years ago. And what they did was they reached out to teens ages 12 to 18 because they saw a need that so many teens were needing service hours for their silver cord. In Des Moines, they have a silver cord program where they have to complete 120 hours of community service from grade 9 through 12. And when they get those hours, they're able to get a cord that they wear on graduation day. So this volunteers program was started. And some of the things that I had teens help me with, I had them prep crafts for preschool or toddler. They helped me shelf picture books. They cleaned toys. They helped in youth programs. So if I had a big event and I had stations at each event, I assigned them to a station and they were able to man that station. I remember there was a big sticker program where all the DVDs, the covers, they needed the dollar sign changed. And so I had teens stickering all the DVDs to remove that dollar fee sign. That was a big project, but they helped out and it was great. I loved hosting this program just because it taught teens about the library world. They would ask us, so why are you having a book sale? What does that do? Why are you stickering these DVDs to take off the dollar fee? I mean, they would ask us questions as I was assigning projects and as they were working on the projects. And I loved those moments because it taught them about library life, what we do, what we go through. And they would ask, why are you taking the new stickers off of the new books? It's teaching them about our business, teaching them about library world. And I just love it. I love the program, and it helps them feel connected to the library, and it makes them feel helpful to the library. So consider that. And if you are stuck and you're like, man, I don't know where to start, no problem. I got you. This is the programming resources page. So if you want to learn more about TeenTober, there's ala.org. They have a whole TeenTober kit that you can look at. They also have program ideas in that kit as well. There's the YALSA's program index. If you have not checked that out, check it out. Their program index has a list of different programs that have been tried and true and tested. So definitely take a peek at that. Programminglibrarian.org is your best friend. They have really cool programs. You can search by grade level, you can search by dollar amount, and it'll pull up different types of programs that you can do at your library for teens. One of my favorites is Teen Services Depot. If you have not checked out Teen Services Depot, check this out. A librarian named Dawn is in charge of this website, and she comes up with some really cool stuff. And if you're on Instagram, get on Instagram because she posts a lot of pictures of all the teen activities that she does. And I got to tell you, it's phenomenal. I've used some of her ideas. So definitely check out Teen Services Depot. There was a really cool article on beanstack.com about how libraries can cultivate teen readership. Definitely check out that article. It was a great read. If you're on School Library Journal, check out the Teen Librarian Toolbox. That is managed by Karen Jensen, and she has information about how to make DIY zines and homemade mini activity books. I also put Rebecca Pitts, she's an artist. There's a really cool article about how to make zines with teens. So I put that there as well. If you're on social media, I'll move this real quick. In Instagram, I love Instagram just because it's fun to look at the pictures and it's fun to really get ideas. Teen Services Depot, check that out on Instagram. Make sure you look her up. But if you put in the hashtag Teen Library Programs or Teen Librarian, it's really cool to see all the ideas that come about when you type in those hashtags. So definitely go on Instagram. If you're on Facebook, Teen Services Underground is fantastic. Definitely look at Teen Services Underground because not only will you get ideas, a lot of the librarians will also post how to do an escape room. They'll post their ideas on Microsoft Word. You just download it and you can just look at it from there. So a lot of their ideas, they'll, again, put in Microsoft Word form and you can just download them. And Programming Librarian Interest Group, same thing. A lot of their ideas, how they did it, the cost or whatnot, they'll have it in a document that you can download. And don't forget, the State Library also has materials that you can use. A lot of these books are in our collection right now, and our checkout is 4 weeks. So you can check out any of these books, use them for your programming, and when you're done, just return it via Iowa Shares. And that is all I have. Samantha. Where is Miss Samantha? There she is.
No, I'm here. Oh, and you can only see the top of my head. I sat down. Well, what fun. I have one thing I want to ask you while other people are thinking of their questions too. And you've answered this question before, and so I hope you'll humor me by answering it again. But here's my question. I am not cool. Can I still do teen programming?
Are you asking personally?
Well, suppose one was not cool. Could one still do teen programming?
Yes. and I can see everybody in the chat. They're like, yes, just own it. Oh, I love Jen Matter. She says, yes, just own it to them. Yes. I mean, I am not the coolest person, but you develop a rapport with teens and they are able to connect. When they connect with you, that's cool. And you're cool in their eyes when you can connect with them and share their interests and be that person that understands them, listen to them. So yeah, I love it. Jen says, everyone thinks they're a nerd. Teens will talk about it. If you do too, you're a good adult. I agree.
Okay. Well, thank you for the encouragement. Someone else has asked, when you were doing the mock interviews, who did you get to do the interviews with the teens?
It was through ICANN, if memory serves me right, and it was the HR rep for Hy-Vee. She came out and did interviews with the teens, and it was awesome. And they also had another rep from Hy-Vee. I think he was a store manager that came out and interviewed the teens, and they were great. They did
That's
a good
awesome.
job.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, certainly someone in town who's likely to employ teens for sure. That's a great Great suggestion. Early on in the program, you mentioned giving away ARC books. If you get those in print, do you have suggestions of good spots to find those? This is something that's come up and check it out before too, I think.
Yeah, reach out to the publishers. Reach out to the publishers and ask for advanced reader copies. They will be more than happy to share their advanced reader copies with you. That's has been the best luck for me is reaching out to them. Publishersweekly.com is great. They have a lot of contests where they give away free advanced reader copies, and I enter those religiously. And it's wonderful to see those packages come at my desk, and I'm like, oh yeah, what kind of treasure did I get today?
Yay.
So reach out to the publishers, reach out to publishersweekly.com.
Mm-hmm. Um, Also, in the spirit of school collaboration, this is not really a question, but I wonder if you could offer some encouragement. Someone mentioned, here's the quote, I've tried getting into the school via principals and the superintendent to reach out to students through group emails, but I'm having difficulty hearing back from any of them. So if they started at the top and they're not having good luck, what would be your next stop?
English teachers, English
English
teachers,
teachers, yeah.
English teachers. If there is a school media specialist or a school librarian, go that route. Or if there's a teacher that you know that you have a good rapport with, or anybody from the school, nurse, whomever, reach out, definitely. School libraries,
Mhm.
school secretaries, bring the secretaries cookies. Oh, that's a good idea. That's a real good idea.
Yeah,
Reading teachers,
yeah.
yes,
Someone
absolutely.
else in the chat early on mentioned an art teacher, someone
Yes,
who may have a good rapport with a tight group of students as well.
yes.
Great.
Jessica says literacy teachers and school librarians, absolutely.
Definitely. Um, oh, it slipped my mind. Well, these are all great suggestions. Are there other questions that you guys have for Janeé on the topic of programming? I do remember now, I was going to say we were talking about the FAFSA earlier, that of course BrainFuse has ACT and SAT prep in it as well. So you can promote the BrainFuse database and resource with your teen patrons, and they have FAFSA help for parents as well. So don't forget about BrainFuse when doing those things.
Absolutely. Explain on how the deposit collection would work post COVID. Certain types of teachers that would need this service? Sure. So after COVID, once COVID was kind of died down and people started coming back into the libraries, I reached out to teachers during the beginning of the school year with the introductory letter saying, hey, here's who I am, here's the services that I provide, here's the outreach I can do. But I would just start with introductory emails to say everything that we could offer and building those relationships, talking to teachers, asking what they're wanting, what they're needing. Um, and I would explain, I had some guidelines for the deposit collections. I had them sign a form saying these are the guidelines that they could only check out for 4 weeks. They could not be renewed. So putting those procedures in place before you reach out to them was helpful for me. Um, and with certain types of teachers that would need the service, it just depends upon the teachers. It depends upon who you're contacting. I worked with an ESL high school teacher at, what was it, Lincoln High School, and her students were ESL students, and she said they love mangas. She's like, could you please give us some more mangas? And so I was able to put 30 in a bin, all different types. It was mostly volume ones just to start with. And that partnership worked out really, really well. Let's see. Jessica says, we have a locked window display as you enter library that we change monthly. For TeenTober, my teen advisory board is taking it over and putting books, media, and other things that they love on display. Awesome. Giving that voice to them. I love it. Let's see. And oh, Sam, you put a kernel. That's right. Sam put in one of our kernels. Sioux City Public Library, they had teen after hours events where they closed the library. It was after the library closed, but they had like a murder mystery event where teens had to search around the library for the clues and they won prizes. That was a lot of fun. And for the snacks, they got popcorn donated, they got drinks donated from like the Pepsi Cola company. Um, Great event, and they had big numbers for their teen after hours events. It was held during summer reading, but if you reach out to Robin at Sioux City Public Library, she's more than happy to share how she did that. And it was a great event for them. And she said it could be adapted during the school year as well. And Emily says there are two kernels about gaming in the library that are really good too. Yes. So, do I have any books to for escape rooms for Halloween? Ooh, I will have to dig and look. So,
There is also, not to turn this into one big advertisement for kernels, but I think there is also a kernels on escape rooms, actually. So I'm just going to put the whole playlist to kernels in there in the chat here, and folks can scroll through because there's some really good stuff on there. Not everyone gets as excited about the kernels as I do, but we can try. We can try to get other people excited about the kernels as I am. Where is that?
I hope this was helpful for everybody. So,
All
any
right.
oh, go ahead, Sam.
No, 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 nope. Uh, I haven't seen any other questions come through, and I'm having trouble finding my kernels. I lost them.
How dare you lose the kernels?
Yeah, right. Here we go.
And don't forget, check it out. It is going to be September 26th, 11 a.m. to noon. We'll have some awesome books that we'll be talking about, and I'll have some prize books to give away. So stay tuned for that. And
Yes, and I
as always, there's my contact info. So please get a hold of me if you have any questions or comments. And yes, Sam, sorry.
no, no, no. I was gonna say I also hope people come back in October for October's Pop YS Live, which will be a preview of I Read Summer 2024, if you can believe that or not.
Absolutely. Cool. Well, I'm excited to see what programs you guys come up with. I'm excited. Reach out if you have any questions, any concerns, or hey, what did you say? I completely forgot. So please reach out. I'm approachable, I'm friendly, and I promise during Check It Out, I will have that picture of me as a teen for More Queen.
Sounds good. And I did put the link to all the kernels in the chat as well. If you're watching the recording, you should be able to find them on our YouTube channel, hopefully faster than I can, but lots of great youth and teen related stuff on that channel as well. So come back in October for Pop YS Live. Come back in a couple weeks for Check It Out. And thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you next time.
Thank you guys.
Bye-bye.